Morning world, it's 9:30 in the morning. It's the 17th of June 2015. That makes it a Wednesday. I'm in the UK. The Pope. As many of you know, I'm not a fan of the Catholic Church, particularly because of the way they've persecuted not only astrologers but also anyone who's not white, elderly and male over a long period of time. I'm being facetious, yes, but I thought it'd be interesting, bearing in mind some of the stuff that's coming out of the Vatican recently, to compare popes. The chart in front of you is the Pope of Ratzinger, 16th of April, 1927, born in where? Markthal in Germany at 4:15 in the morning. It's worth looking at this just for a minute or two. Firstly, look at the strong conjunction, Jupiter on the ascendant in Pisces. Always a little bit larger than life and over the top when on the ascendant, but also full of words like optimism, hope and faith. However, Jupiter in Pisces is allegedly a good influence. On the ascendant, however, I suggest the potential, the aptitude for indulgence in certain more, not so much humour, but pathos. Almost pity is quite strong. Also observe the strong conjunction of Mercury and Uranus in his horoscope in the first house, very much centred around oneself, even though it's an intercepted conjunction. There is a sign cusp between them. The Mercury-Uranus conjunction is also very strongly square to Mars in Gemini in the fourth house, which immediately makes me look at questions around his mother. However, you must also bear in mind the weak square from Venus to Neptune as an element of glamour and fascination, but primarily Ratzo's chart is dominated by the Moon in Libra, strongly square, Pluto in Cancer, almost exact, less than 1/4 of a degree. This is a very challenging aspect. It normally denotes a degree of psychological challenge for at least part of one's life in dealing with old, compulsive and obsessive emotional habit patterns normally indoctrinated during childhood. It also denotes the potential to be an abuser or to be abused, whether that is emotional, mental, psychological or very rarely physical. Please note the use of the words potential. And it's a very difficult chart, and especially now with Uranus-Pluto squaring his Moon Pluto, doing lots of stuff to his Moon Pluto square, still ongoing and continuing until the end of this year. I wonder why he is being kept in quiet, in retreat in the back of the Vatican. People I've heard who have said he's the Vatican's equivalent of Rolf Harris are perhaps a little bit out of line nevertheless. However, alternate this with the chart of the current Pope. Damn, didn't mean to do that, bear with me. Here, that's him. 17th of December 1936 at 9 o'clock in the evening in Buenos Aires. There's no sign of any type of psychological depth, intensity or pressure here in any way that I consider challenging. The only thing that Pluto is doing in his chart is down here. It's retrograde in the first house, squaring the midheaven, to which I say really big deal on its own. It's about transforming and regenerating ideas of oneself through self-generation. It's all about finding oneself and being a better vehicle for one's own transformation and thus transforming the world. The T-square of Saturn opposite Neptune, T-square Chiron, doesn't worry me, nor with the opposition of Chiron to the node. The Sun-node conjunction. The node is a mysterious thing. Many people use words like karma. I use words like purpose. But whenever the Sun or the Moon is conjunct or opposite the node, we're in for a potential eclipse pattern, and certainly whenever the Sun is on the node, we're at an eclipse time. Indeed, Pope Francis was born, as you can see from the Moon up here, some 2.5, 3, 4 days perhaps after what must have been practically a total eclipse of the Sun. Straight away, that's reasonably auspicious, an eclipse of the Sun in Sagittarius. Sagittarius, note you, with Cancer rising, the genuine desire to nurture and protect, with the Moon in very much humanitarian Aquarius, with no difficult aspects to the Moon. I fully understand, looking at this chart, why some people have labelled him a socialist pope. Certainly there's a strong desire to care and to nurture and to tend for those less fortunate than himself. I fully understand, with the complete absence of Leo and predominantly Aries in his horoscope, why there is this sense of humility where he regrets that he can't go out and buy a pizza. I also understand why his concerns around the poor are generated by his Aquarian moon. I note with interest the reaction in certain segments of right-wing hegemony, particularly in America and to a lesser extent in Britain, about the outrage about how the Pope is turning into a communist. But then the Pope is God's shepherd on earth, so he should be looking after the plight of those who are not very well off. And now with his epistle about to emerge on the economy, linking climate change basically with poverty and the inequality on the planet, I understand why the right wing's spitting blood for him. And I do wonder in paranoid moments about his life expectancy. However, it's great. This is the best Pope we've had for a long time. I find myself surprisingly liking the guy. He's honest, he seems straight. He's a Sagittarius with Cancer rising and the moon in Aquarius. You don't get more sort of upfront than that, really. What you see is what you get with him. He's got a lovely Mars trine in Chiron down there. He's got lots of lovely trines from the Sun and Jupiter and Ceres to the midheaven and Uranus. He's a nice guy. Thing is, I understand that he's a very modernist reformer and he will do great things if he gets the chance. But I understand that he's really speaking up for the disaffected, for the poor, especially global, and also for the climate that's needed. The environmental issues. Great, love it. Now let's see what he does about contraception and gay rights. Mind you, he's already made, there will be factions in the Vatican who are already sort of wanting this guy out. He's quite a nice guy. From an astrological perspective, I really see him as living his chart, as opposed to the previous chart, which is much more about the moon, Pluto, and let's just forget about this guy, shall we? Right, okay, that's it. Got one or two other people I've got in my sights as well for the next few days. Catch you later. Bye.